Greetings and welcome back, Dapplings, to the second part of the 8,000 power Reassembly tournament. I'm always going to alternate between saying P and power, because P just by itself, let's be honest, sounds a little bit awkward. Right, this is Group B. We have the Poltergeist by Gravelord, Kaboom, the Dragon, the Tunnelball Mark 14 by Cakeman 2000, Monster by Dragonium, Death Machine Max, and ASHC Adrodboss. I'm terrible at saying that name. Those D's and the O's and the B's all together. Very complicated. Far too complicated for my simple brain. Alright, let's begin the tournament and see who's up first. We've got the Tunnelball versus the Kaboom. Now, the Kaboom looks like an interesting ship. That's why it's an interesting ship. It's a Faction 4. Not very good turning, though. This is going to be its downfall. Oh, no, never mind. It's just laying fire down there. Oh, it's got quite a lot of point defense, actually. So drones are going to be an issue for it. I suspect this is not going to go the Tunnelball's way, which is a shame because the Tunnelball looks like a very complex, very interesting ship. Now, one of the reasons why you'll hear a lot of people complaining about Faction 4 ships in the comments and in general in tournaments is they can reverse faster than any ship realistically can advance using thrusters, not by using their own thrusters, but by using the enormous knockback from their main guns. It's an interesting ship to play in the campaign. Very interesting ship, because when there are natural obstacles, such as meteors, planetoids, that sort of thing, all dotted around, that horrendous knockback can do more damage to your ship than you'll do to the enemies. It's actually difficult to aim sometimes. But the enormous amount of knockback, this is going to be interesting, can... No, you've gone the wrong way. And there it goes. But if they'd come at that weapon from the side, because it has no natural turret mount or anything like that, it fires straight down the barrel of the gun and that's it. But the huge knockback would drive them backwards into asteroids, which could do catastrophic damage to the thing. But I suspect that the Kaboom is literally going to do exactly the same thing as it did last time. The Tunnelball, which honestly, in terms of style alone, wins this contest handedly. I mean, at least this vessel does have some sort of shape to it, but realistically, it's quite a boring design. I'm going to be blunt. That is my honest opinion. It's literally just a block with engines and one gigantic gun. And by engines, I mean generators more than anything else. Though it does have some point defense, and I was impressed by that, honestly, because generally speaking, when I've seen Faction 4 ships in previous tournaments, they've largely had to give everything else up in order to have their super mega awesome gun. But in this case, I guess with the 8,000 P limit, it's a little bit more forgiving for a ship like this to have additional components. Wow, are you sucking down components from all the way over there? That's crazy sauce. Yep, it's like, no, bring them back. I need them. Damn it, I only just repaired those components. Now, let's actually see what you can do. If you can actually get any real damage. You've only scored 8 points worth of damage so far, but I will probably, unless I see something in the early stages of any fight with Kaboom, I'll probably just fast forward through it because that was an unsatisfying fight there. Now, let's see how the Cakeman does against the Tunnelball. The Tunnelball does against the Poltergeist. Cakeman does it against the Tunnelball. You were made by Cakeman. Cakeman, I'm sorry to tell you, but it seems that your ship wants you dead. Or at least it does in my mind. But Poltergeist has actually cleaved the Tunnelball in twain. Very nicely done, Poltergeist. Lots of very nice shielding there. Very spiky little craft. I like it. I always approve of spikes. But that Tunnelball, wow, okay. So it literally does live up to its name. It simply bored a way through the Poltergeist. I guess it depends really if the front weapons are facing the opponent, because if they're not, then it's going to be a pretty rough time. But there we go. You're just basically shaving off huge chunks of the Poltergeist. But the Poltergeist is bringing up its shields and putting those back pretty quickly. But there we go. Tunnelball did quite well there. Now, the Tunnelball is pretty much a melee ship, and it's always nice to see those. I quite like melee ships. The Dragon up next. Another Faction 4 ship, but this one's actually quite interesting. It's not a single gun. This is lots and lots of different Faction 4 guns. I strongly suspect that it's actually not using its guns offensively, but rather as a means to run away, and is using its drones as its main offense. Now, that's a very interesting way to play it. This is like a beehive with, I don't know, giant plasma lances on it. Okay, it's nothing like a beehive at all, but I'm actually really liking seeing how this fights. Oh, you've locked yourself in a corner. We'll see if those weapons are just for show or not. No, actually, they were doing a little bit of damage. It also had some point defense, but it's really not using its weapons as a main means of attack. It's using its drones to do that. And that's actually really nice. I mean, in that, it did cleave it up using its main guns in the end. But, no, I like it. I like this, the Dragon's design. It's very, very interesting. It's not at all the sort of design I've come to expect from a Faction 4 ship. It's quite interesting. Very nicely built. It's got quite a lot going on in the design. The tunnel bore, similarly, quite a lot going on with its design. That's going to be very hard to actually look at any of it because it's constantly under attack. But where are you? Look at that ship. Oh, is the tunnel bore about to cleave you in half? Yes, it did. Very nicely done, tunnel bore. You really can't afford to be stuck in a corner when the tunnel bore is bearing down upon you. Or boring down upon you. Right, let's see how this one goes. Let's speed up time just a little bit, because I suspect it's going to come down to whether the dragon gets caught in the corner. It lost a few of its guns there. Quite a few, and it doesn't look like the tunnel bore can turn around anymore. Unless it can keep its shields up, but I don't think it can. Both ships are pretty badly damaged, but the dragon uses different types of weapons. It uses the drones as its primary DPS, I would say. And given that, I strongly suspect that there is not going to be a thing the tunnel bore can do. Let's have a proper look at the dragon here. Oh, that is a very nice ship. Very, very nice ship indeed. I really like the design there. Really like it. Tunnel bore, you're doing well. You're trying your best to keep things going. I love the way you've coloured the ship as well. That's actually a really nice detail. You actually spent quite a lot of time on this, Cake Man, I can see, making this ship look nice and work nice. I really, really approve of that. It looks fantastic. Now, the dragon is slowly pulling everything back together and launching more drones all the while. I mean, at this point, it's going to come down to points. But the tunnel bore may have won that if it had managed to properly pin the dragon in the corner, but it was close. It was, you know, the tunnel bore did get one kill on it. That was a nice fight. I really enjoyed that one. Right, let's see how this goes. The monster, very nicely designed. It's kind of omnidirectional. Oh, it's lost a lot of its armor though. Kind of like the Nova Star in that it had armor in a kind of a circular kind of pattern, but it seems to be anchored in some way. There's more defined front to the monster though, but I think in this fight the tunnel bore has more firepower. Though that said, the monster came so close. It was really burrowing into the tunnel bore there towards the cockpit. That was a shame that you lost right when you were about to pull that back, but it was a very nice fight all the same. Now the Adrod boss, not doing too badly. It's very nice design on this one as well. Kind of more of a, I'm not sure if that's meant to kind of have more of a hawk-like shape to it, or it's more of a frog. Mid-leap. Rear legs extended powerfully. Here we go, coming in again. Lots of good firepower on this though. That can project quite a lot of firepower. In close range, it's going to be incredibly devastating. Look at that. Though the tunnel bore is no slouch when it comes to close range, strongly recommend you don't get that close. Oh, never mind. It looked like it came down to who could bore through the other faster. Sorry for the pun again. But the tunnel bore just lost out there. Okay, Death Machine Max. We've got 3 Faction 4 ships in this group. That's interesting. And the tunnel bore doesn't care. It's like, no, I had enough of your shenanigans in the first battle. I'm not going to take any more of this nonsense. It seems that Death Machine Max lacks the sort of huge knockback that allows the others to vacate the immediate vicinity of the tunnel bore's rather intimidating firepower, front-mounted firepower. Let's have a good look at the Death Machine mechs. It's actually a really nice ship as well. It looks like it's actually got a means to make money. The reactor on the back there, I believe, is generating cash, which is an interesting one, because you wouldn't need that in an actual... The spinning reactor is what I'm talking about. Let me get in there, see if you can see it there, just spinning right towards the back of the vessel, but you wouldn't need that in a tournament, so that gives the impression that this might actually be a campaign ship, which is kudos to you for bringing a campaign ship to the tournament. I always like to see that, actually. Right, okay, 1 win all. Can the Tunnel Ball pull this back? Or is this going to go to Death Machine? The Tunnel Ball is in close quarters, but I don't think it's got the right angle. Oh no, it might do. No, it's not. Death Machine wins. Okay, we're now going to see... Oh, actually, Tunnel Ball is in the lead at the moment, but Kaboom against the Poltergeist. Well, the Poltergeist is not backing up. Unfortunately, is not backing up whilst bearing down on the main guns. And there we go. Kaboom wins that round. It is very difficult to actually do any damage to a ship that can reverse simply by firing at you, because it will tend to mean that you're approaching it from the angle that it can shoot at, and bad things happen then. Though you actually managed to get a few hits in. Not much, but 467 points against this ship is actually a big deal. Well done, Poltergeist. Keep fighting the good fight. Now, the Kaboom has lodged itself in a corner. This may be the Poltergeist's opportunity to take it out, but with all of that point defense... No, the Poltergeist did it! Well done, Poltergeist. Let's see what you can do here. I'm very impressed by that. Very impressed indeed. Though again, with any vessel that primarily relies on reversing, if you reverse into a corner, it's pretty much game over for you. It's got a little bit of maneuvering thrusters, just so that it can aim its weapon properly. But there we go. Kaboom wins. So we've got 2 wins for Kaboom, 2 wins for the Tunnel Ball. Next up is the Kaboom versus the Dragon. Now, I'm actually really interested in this one, because the Dragon may be able to just keep distance, using its main weapons to just keep the Kaboom from getting too close. The Dragon will probably win in that instance. Oh, there we go. Simply because its drones are just going to be constantly harassing. But in this case, the Kaboom's... The gimmick with the Kaboom is that it has very, very little armor around the ship. It's relying on the fact that it can reverse faster than most ships could be able to approach it to stay alive. So even where the other ships could basically weather a volley of fire from the Dragon, unless they were already significantly damaged, perhaps the drones had worn away enough of their armor so that the shots from the Dragon could penetrate it. But the Kaboom is far less capable of weathering even a single blow. Although, that said, it managed to take 2 there. Of course, I'm referring to the armor around the cockpit. Obviously, it can take quite a lot directly on the nose because it's got so much room it has to dig through before it can get to the cockpit. But from the side, the cockpit on the Kaboom is incredibly vulnerable. Now, I suspect that Monster is going to fare a little bit worse, as is already evidenced by the fact that it's 3,000 points down. As soon as the Kaboom can realign, I suspect the Monster may be in a bit of trouble, unless it can start wearing down through the side of the Kaboom's main gun, which it did. Well done, Monster. Very well done. Keep launching those drones. It's harassing the Kaboom, causing it to try and reorientate itself all the time. There we go. It may actually be a Monster's win. Yes, it was. Much the same way, again, though, the Kaboom simply reversed itself into a corner and had no ability to keep getting out of the way. But if it could score a good first hit, I imagine the Kaboom could take Monster out of this. It just needs to get that first good hit. And one of the things that I've noticed with Faction 4 ships is quite often they're very, very hard to use accurately because that knockback throws everything off. But the Monster is approaching directly down the front. Will it be able to do enough damage? Yes. Yes, it can. Monster takes down Kaboom. Very well done indeed. Right, so we've got 2 wins to Dragon, 2 wins to Tunnel Ball. Let's see how the Adroit Boss does. It's approaching from the front. That is never a good idea. We'll see. No, it's really starting to take a lot of damage at the front. Though it's still got its main cannons. If it can keep enough of those until it's within range to fire, it will probably do significant damage. Nah, unfortunately, it couldn't quite maneuver properly. Possibly because it's lost some sort of maneuvering thrusters at the front. I'm not entirely certain. It actually, yes, it looks like it lost one side's maneuvering thrusters. If you look at the very, very front, it's slowly building those thrusters back now. That would have been a significant blow to its ability to turn properly and attack the Kaboom. The Kaboom's coming in close range again. That's a bit of an odd thing for it to be doing, honestly. Okay, let's speed things up just a little bit while we're waiting for these ships to get back into fighting range. Though I suspect Kaboom is about to win if it can just attack the rear like this. No? Well, the Kaboom wins on points alone then. Right, let's see how this goes. Round number 2. Are you going to be able to get in close enough? You are. Let's drop that to half speed. And again, if the Kaboom gets caught on its side, it's pretty much game over. So it comes down to this battle. How is it going to play out this time? Oh, looks like the Adroboss. No, it's going from the front. It may be able to recover. It's got a lot of speed. And the Kaboom is finding it hard to break through all of that weapon, all of the armor. But no, I suspect it may... Oh, no. No, the Adroboss was doing a fair bit of damage there. Or at least it was lining up the damage. It actually didn't do too much looking at the score. But the Kaboom is still in a very awkward position. If the Adroboss can get into position and force the Kaboom back into a corner, then it has a chance. Otherwise, I suspect it's going to go down to points again. And of course, Kaboom will win in terms of points. Ooh, this might be interesting. No, unfortunately not. It looks like the Adroboss is now basically lodging itself into the corner there. I suspect this is going to be a Kaboom win, whether it comes down to a kill or not. No, there we go. Okay, finally, the Kaboom against Death Machine Max. Now, let's see how Death Machine Max faces off against the Kaboom. It's launching its drones, and once again, the Kaboom's fairly comprehensive suite of point defense is doing a good job, but Death Machine Max wins. It's interesting to note that the Kaboom, which is basically a ship built around the one tactic of using this super powerful weapon, is losing to other ships with similar equipment that have been built to be a little bit more, well, less reliant on that weapon specifically. The drones are a fantastic addition. Okay, the Poltergeist up against the Dragon. Currently, though, the Kaboom is in the lead by 1 kill. Poltergeist shields already down, and it looks like the drones are going to keep them down at this point. And the Dragon has got a fair bit of firepower, but looks like the Poltergeist has taken more damage here. Quite a lot more damage as well. Let's see, is the Dragon going to lodge itself in the corner? That's the thing. It looks like the Poltergeist won. Well done, Poltergeist. So much point defense on the front. So much point defense. It does not want any drones or any missiles getting anywhere close to it. Wise. They are remarkably annoying things. So the Dragon getting some early damage in there. It needs to get more than this, though, I suspect. Oh, that's a shame. That volley. If it had been able to bring that whole volley to bear against the Poltergeist, I suspect it would have gone a little bit differently. But as such, it has lost half of its weapon systems. The Poltergeist, though, I suspect, is largely undamaged. Well, I mean, it is clearly damaged, but it's not lost a lot of its combat capability, I don't think. Could be wrong, though. The Dragon is slowly chipping away. Those point defense doing pretty good as well. And the drones are constantly harassing the Poltergeist, not giving it much chance to recover there. Half of the Poltergeist is now gone. The Dragon is doing its best to cleave up the remainder. There we go. Dragon wins. Well done. It was actually that was actually a fairly close battle, that one. I couldn't have called it which one was going to win, that one. Until right at the end, obviously. But in the beginning, when both ships had managed to take out half of the enemy ship, I didn't know which one had the firepower needed to keep in the game. Though that said, the Dragon is launching drones, and drones have the nice quality of just gradually building up over time. So the longer they're left to be launched, the more significant the threat they represent. Poltergeist already having quite a lot of trouble here. It would be interesting if this tournament arena were, instead of some sort of invisible barrier that doesn't damage ships, we're actually just surrounded in asteroids that would damage ships on collision. Okay, well, the dragon is now equal to the Kaboom in terms of score. Right, who's going to win here? The Poltergeist or the monster? Poltergeist it is. Far too much armor on the front of the Poltergeist for anything to realistically manage to take it on a head-on assault. It's got quite a lot of shields as well, you'll notice. A lot of shields, in fact. And there we go. Poltergeist wins that battle handedly. Well done, Poltergeist. Moving on now to the Adder boss. The Poltergeist may be in a position to actually get 4 wins here, I imagine. It's possible. Though I'm not sure it has the firepower necessary to win this fight. We'll see. It's lost its ability to maneuver properly. The enemy has an awful lot of firepower. Similar source of firepower to the Poltergeist, but a lot more of it. And I suspect it's going to be able to wear its way through the front of the Poltergeist armor. Yeah, this is pretty much it for the Poltergeist. Though that was a good fight all the same. Poltergeist put up a brave fight. Did quite a lot of damage. But I don't think the large amount of point defense that it's got really makes up for the huge amount of primary weapons that the Adder boss has. It has far more DPS than the Poltergeist, when all things are considered. The Poltergeist does have some of those guns, but far less of them. Although the Poltergeist is like, nope, go no guns, time out, need a break, need to repair, leave me alone. Alright, those are my bits, you scallywag, he seemed to say. Right, it looks like the Poltergeist... No, the Poltergeist is just going to escape once again. So, whilst we're just sat here... I mean, the Poltergeist does have a comparable amount of points. It is behind, but it's possible that it would be able to recover. Speed things up. No, never mind. The moment it came back for a fight, the Adder boss won that one. Okay, so the Poltergeist last match, it is not going to be able to get 4 wins at this point. Up against Death Machine Max. Death Machine Max already launching its drones. The Poltergeist doing the same. And the Poltergeist, when in close quarters, simply overwhelmed the Death Machine. Say what you will about how potentially OP those guns are, you've got to admit, it looks good when they fire. That just like stream of firepower. Almost looks like a laser or a plasma whip or something like that. It's actually quite pleasing to look at, if nothing else. But there we are, the Poltergeist easily won that fight. Easily won that fight. Okay, up next is the dragon against the monster. Now, let's see how this one goes. I suspect it's going to go much the same way as before. The dragon's drone army, because it releases a lot. It's not just 1 or 2 drones. It releases a lot of drones. I would say that, although it has got the Faction 4 guns, I would say that it's actually more of a drone boat than anything else. The Faction 4 guns are there just to supplement the drone firepower. Also as a mode of emergency retreat. It's an interesting way of using them. Ooh, it may get itself lodged in the corner. No, I think it's going to leave the corner. No, it's leaving. So I suspect this one is definitely going to be going to the dragon. If the dragon can just keep ahead of the monster, it should be fine. Let's speed things up a little bit. That huge ball of drones there just constantly whittling down the monster. Though, getting in close. Never mind. The dragon just used... It waited patiently and then used its main guns to finish the job. The drones had probably cleaved off enough of the armor by that point. Notice the drones are slowly wearing the armor down. Eventually, the very, very vulnerable innards will be exposed. And at that point, if the dragon does actually attack using its main weapons and can land the hit, it's going to do huge amounts of damage when it does. If that had landed, that probably would have ended that fight. As we see there, large amounts of the thrust is gone. Though, Monster doing its best to bring its weapons to bear. Well done, Monster. Let's speed up time a little bit. We are probably going to see exactly the same thing happen again. More thrust is gone. More thrust is gone. Very little left. Oh no, the Monster won! Brought down upon the dragon and finished that fight very quickly, which is particularly useful because I don't think it had very long left if it didn't. So this one comes down to the final round. It's very interesting. Okay, let's see. Is it going to be able to pull her off again? Launching its large explosive shells there. Dragon trying desperately to stay away. Probably wise. Oh, no, it hasn't gone away. Oh, there we go. Dragon won. So Dragon is currently in the lead. Now, we've still got enough fights left that that could change. But currently Dragon is point leader. And I'm going to say it now because I feel it's fair. Yes, I'm a little bit biased in Dragon's favor because its name is Dragon. And it's colored red. I mean, they've clearly gone with a the theme here. I actually do like the way it uses its guns as well, and I probably would have secretly had my vote anyway. But I am going to say I really like the theme that this bot has gone for. Still, the Adrot boss. Oh, that's very unfortunate. I was going to say it's still actually quite a powerful bot and quite dangerous, but it looks at the drones. It has no real point defense to deal with this many drones. It needs much more than that to be able to realistically stop them, and they're just taking out all of the important functional components. All of the thrusters are getting just walloped at the back there. That is a shame. It's going to be taken apart by 1,000 paper cuts, it seems. Okay, let's speed things up a little bit. Well done, Adroboss, though. You're holding on as best you can, but it's actually scored no points so far. The Dragon, lots of points. Oops, wow. Okay, the Adroboss won that one. Slow down! Camera's going crazy. I have no idea how the Adroboss won that one. I do apologize for that. But it did. I trust the game. It didn't lie. It was just going a little bit too fast there. Let's see how the Dragon does. I'm finding that the automatic camera is not actually as good as it used to be. So I'm having to manually move the camera around a lot more. And at this point, unless the Dragon gets better at aiming, this is just going to be a very long battle. Nope, there we go. The Adroboss coming in. If it can get close enough, it's got enough firepower that it'll probably be able to wipe the Dragon out in just one go. One solid volley. But it's getting in close. That is the problem for the Adroboss here. And all the while, the Dragon is just racking up crazy amounts of points. But those guns are charged. They are waiting. They are complete. Have you got actually burst lasers? Yes, at the front burst lasers. So that may have been what killed the Dragon so quickly. They are pinpoint accurate, and they would have gone straight for the cockpit. But the Dragon, just content to use its drones. Doesn't really want to actually fight. It's more just herding the Adroboss somewhere, really, with its main guns. Well, actually, it's getting involved a little bit now, it seems. It looks like this one's going to go down to points, and the Dragon won with 59,900 points. Well done. Okay, the Dragon going for Death Machine Max. I believe the Dragon may have actually... It's won all but one of its battles so far. If it wins against Death Machine, then it'll have 6 points. That'll actually be very, very interesting. Very hard to beat for any of the others. I'm not even sure if it'll be possible. Oh, there we go. Death Machine's like, nah, don't feel like it today. Sorry, but I've had enough of this. So Death Machine definitely using its primary weapon much more aggressively than the Dragon. Though still launching its own drones. Still has a secondary weapon. But that stream of firepower, vastly outranging, vastly outdamaging the Dragon's equivalent. I'm not sure it's going to survive this. Oh, it managed to get away. Only just, though. But it did manage to flee. Will it be able to keep this going? Because at the moment, the Dragon will win in points alone. Oh, no. I think that's it for the Dragon. The Death Machine Max managed to pin it against the wall at its side as well. Next up is Monster versus Adroboss. Now this one's going to be possibly short-lived because these are both very powerful cannon-using ships. They'll both try to get in close, so it'll literally come down to which one is the least armored. And it's an obvious answer on that question, really. If the monster is able to get some of those explosive shells to land near the weapons, it may be able to keep going because the splash damage will take out a good portion of the weapon systems, as you're seeing there. But they take a while to charge up. It looks like it might actually be able to... No, it can't. The Adroboss was just taking its time to wear it down. Okay, Monster versus Death Machine Max. How is Death Machine going to fare? It's possible we'll see a tie between Death Machine and the Dragon. Let's see how this one goes. Monsters moving in. No, Death Machine Max wins the round. And next up, launching the drones once again. Likely to be another repeat of this one. The Death Machine is quite a potent weapon of destruction here. Oh, that said, Monster managed to take out its weapon systems very quickly. Let's slow this down. Camera, will you work with me? Camera's like, no, I don't want to look. I'm literally moving the camera all over the place. I cannot see what's going on. So this one's going to come down to just our imagination. The monster has lost a lot of its armor that we can see up in the top. I really can't believe it's doing this, but damn it, camera. We have no idea where the Death Machine is, but we can sort of see some of the Death Machine's main laser fire showing up on the little camera there on the monster. But the monster really needs to get in close, and it needs to approach from the side to stand any chance. Its shots have not got the range needed, though its large shots just launched. The splash damage managed to do enough damage to take down a couple of the Death Machine's shields, but ultimately the Death Machine put the monster back in its place. The final match. Now, if Death Machine can win this, it'll go to a tie. If Andropos can win this, then Dragon will move forward. So Dragon, no doubt, is currently rooting for the Andropos at the moment. Oh, and the Andropos moves in from the side, the perfect position, and it took the Death Machine out. Well, that was impressive, actually. We'll see if that will play out in exactly the same way again, or whether the Death Machine is going to add a little bit of tension and drama to this tournament by forcing this to go to round 3. The Andropos not in a particularly good position. That is a bad place to be. No, the Andropos has won. It's overwhelming firepower. The Death Machine does not have enough reverse thrust from its weapons to really get away from the Andropos, and the Andropos simply wore it down. So there we go. The Dragon moves forward. Again, as I said, bias towards the Dragon because of the name and the general theme it's going for, but let's give credit where it was due. These ships were really good. I liked the Poltergeist. The Poltergeist was surprisingly tanky, actually, quite a sneaky little ship. The Tunnel Bore pretty much lived up to its name, and I really liked that. I love the detail on the Tunnel Bore as well. In terms of aesthetics, I would probably say that the Tunnel Bore, just for the detail with the yellow and, well, as near to black as they could get color scheme, and the way they kind of had strips of that black color moving through, it actually looked like a construction vessel. I really like that. So from aesthetics alone, I think the Tunnel Bore was the prettiest bot in this group. But that shouldn't take away from how pretty in and of themselves the other bots are, because we've certainly got some really good lookers here. Monster, I really like the design. Much more pronounced front. It's not quite like the Nova Star, which was very symmetrical. The monster definitely had more of a nose to it, and you could tell which way it considered to be its front. It wasn't really a spinner; it was just built in a capsule shape and had omnidirectional combat capabilities as a result. Death Machine Max, quite a potent Faction 4 ship. As we saw, it defeated the other Faction 4 ships. The Kaboom, probably the weakest of the Faction 4 ships in terms of fighting other Faction 4. The reliance on just a single weapon system really was its undoing when it came up against the Dragon and the Death Machine with their drones. And it was the drones that really made them stand out, because, again, a lot of Faction 4 ships that I've seen in tournaments tend to just focus on that main gun and typically only have one. They'll just make it as powerful as they possibly can and rely on the enormous kickback that it has when it fires to basically keep it out of danger at any particular time. The Kaboom was effectively following that design strategy. But no, I really enjoyed this group. So Dragon moves forward. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the tournament, and I'm looking forward to the next, where we will be fighting with Group C. But until then, and as always, do take care.